Welcome to She Been Ready, the podcast. She Been Ready is a conversation, a declaration, and a clarification that Black women have always led. On this podcast, I, Dr. Wendy Williams, educator, psychologist, leader, and auntie, will be joined by Black women who lead and those who have been led well by them. So, you don't have to get ready when you stay ready. And you can trust in the leadership of a Black woman because she been ready. All right. So welcome everyone back to She Been Ready, the podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Wendy Williams, and I am very, 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 very thrilled to have our guest, our guest today, who is the first man to grace our space. And y'all know how I am. I'm very protective of the spaces that we create and craft for women and girls, particularly Black women and girls. It must be safe. It must be sacred. And so only those who are truly worthy are welcome. And my friend, my colleague, my comrade, Ashanti Branch is indeed worthy. So we're so grateful to have you here with us, Ashanti.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah. I want to just give folks a little sense of who you are. This by no means will be as extensive as it can be. We'll definitely have your bio and everything that's more shareable electronically. But just to give you all a sense of who Ashanti is, I would say first and foremost, he is a good brother. He's a good human. And we met twice. Once as I was seeking to get some support on actually creating this podcast, because Ashanti, as you can see, he has a, for those who will be able to see video, he has a big hanging from the ether podcast microphone. So he knows something about it. And we have a mutual friend who actually put us in contact as well, Wally. And during that time, I learned that he was an alum of the program, the teacher education program for the School of Education that I run. And as an educator, what he shared with me was that he began to understand that something was happening for the boys in his school, the boys who were super smart, but distant. And they didn't allow his lessons to permeate, but I would say they weren't allowing him to permeate. They didn't trust it to permeate their bravado, their sense of what I would think is a protective shield around them, perhaps. So those boys were in primarily working class communities in the East Bay of Northern California. That's Oakland, San Lorenzo, San Leandro. And they attended the schools in which he taught or did some of his training. So Ashanti understood that the absorption of toxic, or as I've heard one scholar call it tragic masculinity, plagued his students. And that this is what inspired his work with them. And, one of the things that I am struck by and interested in is, to understand a problematic thing, we must also understand its kryptonite. And I do believe that the kryptonite to tragic masculinity is divine femininity, the divine feminine. And it's from this place that I have invited Ashanti and to engage in conversation with me. He, as I said, is the first man to be on She Been Ready, the podcast. And, what people who know me know is that they know I love men, and I absolutely love Black men. I love our community. I am not one of those people who, I don't buy it. I don't buy into the hype of weaponizing distance between Black men and women. I just don't do it. They are our brothers, they are our husbands, they are our uncles, they are our fathers, they are our friends, and they are our community members. And we hold them close and tight to heart too, just period. And also sometimes that love that Black women have for Black men can be weaponized against them. And that's an honest thing to recognize as well. So I think we must hold those truths, but we must also hold each other in accountability in those truths. So I'm very careful with the space, as I said before. And again, I have invited Ashanti because I believe that it is with brothers like him, friends, colleagues like him, that we can have real conversations about who we are in this world together, what we need from one another, how to support one another, that we all come to the table with needs.